everyone, and welcome to Connect, the weekly podcast for the California MBA, featuring one-on-one interviews with movers and shakers in the mortgage industry. I'm Susan Milazzo, CEO of the California MBA, and I'm very happy that you could join us. Before we get to today's guest, I'd like to thank our Connect podcast sponsor, Incelerate.
Thanks, Susan, and thanks for listening. This is Josh Wren, CEO and founder of Incelerate. We're grateful for our partnership with the CMBA and are committed as a company to help lenders close more loans. We do this with our customer experience platform that has a CRM, lead management, marketing, automation, robust content library, desktop and mobile applications. We do this to help you engage and stay connected to your current borrowers, referral partners, past borrowers, and potential new ones. If you want to find out why we're the fastest growing CRM provider in the mortgage industry, please reach out to us and ask for a demo.
Thank you, Josh. And with that, I'd like to welcome my guest today, David Karandish, who is CEO of Capacity. David, welcome.
Great to see you, Susan.
So happy that you could be a part of the organization. Capacity is a new member to the California MBA, so thank you. We're excited to get you guys plugged into all of our activities here. I'd like to start out by giving us a little bit of your background and how you started Capacity.
So I've been in the tech space for a little over 25 years. Most recently, I was at a media company. Prior to that, I was at a company doing lead generation in the mortgage space. So I've got some deep roots going back some time. But we started Capacity back in January of 2017. Our whole mission is we want to help teams do their best work by automating as much of your support as possible. So that could be anything from borrower-facing support for like first-time homebuyer questions on your website, to helping with the underwriting help desk, to even things like onboarding and training and HR and IT.
It's important this year, right? Everybody's looking for how to, maximize that automation of the cycle. What are your clients sharing with you that are their top priorities for 2022?
I think every client we've talked with this year is focused on how can we make a more efficient operation.
Right.
As we had with the crazy times of 2020 going into 2021, now people are saying, hey, look, we got to do more with less. We got to figure out how to scale without just throwing heads at the problem. So that includes anything from streamlining the mortgage process to helping on the lead gen front on their websites, to just focusing on getting people trained and up to speed as quickly as they can.
And that's, again, I think that just with everyone's looking at margin compressions and looking at their bottom line, they just want to rely a lot on automation and making that customer experience as smooth as possible, right? Well, for the customers and their loan officers.
Yeah, we've had clients who've hired us out of their hiring budget, not out of their tech budget.
Interesting.
Like, I just can't throw people at these problems anymore. We need to be able to scale and multiply.
Right. So share with us, how is automation impacting the mortgage industry? I know that's a pretty wide question, but from Capacity's perspective.
Yeah, the way I think about it is that if you think about the process that retail went through compared to where retail is at with Amazon today, right? So today I can go order something, depending on what city I live in, it might be delivered same day, maybe next day. I can filter, I can drill down, I can find reviews, I can find related information. Like Amazon's just made that process as seamless as possible. We're now seeing people are taking an Amazon-like approach to the mortgage space. We're saying, how can we remove as much friction as we can? That includes anything from our initial marketing on how we're reaching out to prospective borrowers, to what happens on the website, to the process of navigating all of the guidelines and overlays. What does it look like to get this particular type of loan closed with this type of credit score, et cetera. So finding every little, you can almost think of the mortgage process not as one process, but as a collection of smaller processes that are all ripe to have a significant amount of automation. And we're based in St. Louis, so we're kind of a pragmatic bunch, being in the middle of the country. But one of the things that we really stand by is that we don't think everything is going to be automated, but you got to automate the things that should be. So there will always be some areas where we need some human involvement, or we need some human decisioning, we need some human judgment. But man, the areas where you're regurgitating information, you're doing the same things over and over again, those are really prime areas to come in and bring some automation.
Right, and I think, you bring up a good point. I mean, Amazon's a great, great example, but all of the online commerce that we have as consumers, right? And then, pile on top of that a global pandemic where we had to be reliant on a lot more of that. It's made it so that customers, their expectations are that there is automation and that they can get whatever they want, whatever they're shopping for, whatever they're trying to research, that it is available to them. And it's as, like you say, like, as few clicks as possible, and to be able to get the mission accomplished, if you will. So I know, my members over the years, I think since the financial crisis, and we've seen kind of the explosion of technology in the mortgage industry, one of the things that I actually will still hear it is how can we help loan officers get comfortable with AI and automation?
Yeah, so I'd like to take people through almost like a 5-step journey for what that could look like. So think about currently people are emailing questions into their underwriting support inbox. They're not tracked well. There's no leverage. There's no ability to go search for related questions. So step 1 could be moving from emails going into a support box to having those tracked on some kind of ticket. So you have some history, you've got comments, you've got threading, you've got assignment, you've got SLAs associated with that. That's kind of a step 1. Step 2 is to say, okay, David, that's great, but now we went from managing an inbox to now managing a ticket box. Like, how do we improve that? If I have a support question and I'm emailing the underwriting support group, instead of it just creating a ticket, let's also go check the bot. And if the bot can answer the question, have it email me back. And if I thumb up that question, we're just going to close that ticket automatically. So it's kind of a step 2 level of automation as an example. Okay, let's go step 3. In step 3, I'm going to go email the support box. Instead of it creating the ticket, now let's have the bot response come back. And if I thumb it down, go create the ticket. So we've avoided having to pile up the inbox at all unless you really needed help. So that kind of takes it up the next level. Then you've got kind of step 4, which is to say, okay, David, I know that if I email the support box, someone will get back to me eventually. But if I email Susan, I know Susan and I have been working together for a long time. I know she's going to respond back to me. So we're working on this kind of personal email interceptor idea, where as you load up your Outlook or your Gmail, we'll actually show you AI-driven responses in your email to respond back. So that's kind of the next layer of automation. And then the final one is to say, okay, if you're doing that on email and you have a bot on your intranet, and you've got a bot via SMS, and you've got a bot plugged into Slack or Microsoft Teams, now it's like this omni-channel approach to helping you answer your question. Now, I'm talking about underwriting help desk here as one example, but we're taking that approach and we're applying it to every single part of the loan process.
Right. So talk to me about some examples of how AI and automation are improving just the company streamline process.
Yeah, so it could be anything from onboarding a new LO, even though some budgets are tightening and things like that. You've still got a lot of turnover. You've still got folks fighting for bringing on the best loan officers. So how do we get them up to speed, trained, productive as quickly as possible? Instead of just handing you one of our clients, you literally, if you were a new loan officer there, you would get a binder, a 3-ring thick binder on day 1 with like 300 pages in it for you to go memorize and understand. Well, I don't know. I've got a decent memory, but that sounds like a lot to go try to take in. Instead, you have this bot who's guiding you along the way, helping you get up to speed. Another example would be, we mentioned this earlier, all of the automating the overlays on top of your federal guidelines. So we've got federal guides that say we can do this, but we've got a little more strict policies around this particular type of loan or this particular type of loan. We now have set up capacity where you can inject those overlays directly into the cloud drive, and it can start answering those questions. So that's another area we've really sped things up. And then a last one, which we're seeing more and more traction on, is in the automatic extraction of information out of mortgage documents. So a lot of times, particularly when you're a little farther down, not on the origination side, but on the servicing side, folks are wanting to compare the loan with what's in the system of record. And they've got teams of 20-somethings who are staring and comparing and staring and comparing and trying to figure that out. Instead, we're saying, no, have the AI go in, read the document, do the OCR, use the artificial intelligence to understand what those fields are, compare that back to the LOS. If they match, great, you're on your way. If they don't match, then go bring someone in for exception handling to go review the outliers.
I mean, that's a perfect combination. I feel like that's what all my members are looking for, right? It's like improve that customer experience and create efficiencies with the technology that you have.
Absolutely.
That's great. Well, David, thank you so much for being a part of our Connect podcast series. It's been nice to meet you virtually, and I look forward to meeting you soon at our upcoming event. And thank all of you for joining us today for the Connect podcast. To access any of our past episodes, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also available on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and Spotify. That's it for this week. We'll see you next time on Connect.